It was August 29th, 1899. 250 students who wanted to become teachers enrolled in Eastern Indiana Normal University in Muncie. The Normal consisted of one neoclassic building and housed everything from classrooms to a residence for the president. 19 years later, the Normal changed its name to Ball State, and a rich heritage of higher education in East Central Indiana began. Spring commencement ceremonies were small in those days, less than 100 students, and were held alongside the one building that made up the campus. By the middle 1920s, Ball State was growing, and so was commencement. So the ceremony was moved to a more central location in the center of campus, surrounded by large trees and academic buildings. It's a tradition that continues today as we celebrate the 143rd commencement at Ball State University.
Good morning and welcome to a very glorious day in Muncie, Indiana, the campus of Ball State University. I'm Al Rent.
And I'm Heather Shupp, and over the next 20 minutes or so, we're going to bring you some of the sights and sounds on this beautiful day, leading up to the first strains of pomp and circumstance that signal the beginning of the procession.
And that's going to happen about 9:50, so you can synchronize your watches with us and with the entire ceremony here. More than 2,500 graduates will be filing in along with the platform party, and as they take their seats and everything gets into place, we'll back off and let you enjoy the ceremony. We have cameras stationed throughout the area, all around the terrace and the quad. This event takes a look from one of the cameras that you see right now. We have many for you. We'll give you a great view.
We expect a crowd today of around 15,000. 15,000, that makes this one of the largest annual non-sporting event at Ball State. Family and friends of the graduates always get here early to get the best seats.
And those early arrivals are in for a real treat, too, because they can sit back and listen to the pre-commencement concert. The ceremonial band is created exclusively for this event. It's made up of the top performers from the University Symphonic Band and the Wind Ensemble. They rehearse for just a couple of days before the graduation ceremonies, then provide the concert plus the music for the ceremony.
Well, Director of Bands Joe Scagnoli came up with this idea in 1984, and since then it's been a Ball State tradition. Here's a look at the musical selections the band will be playing this morning. There's a mix of styles from John Philip Sousa to John Williams, and from a Gershwin medley to Back Home Again in Indiana.
Joe Scagnoli puts a good deal of thought into the theme of this program, as he explained in a recent interview. Well, we'll have that interview in just a moment, but the concert is going so well, and that's one of the really nice things about the people coming in at this time.
Absolutely.
They're playing a myriad of music.
And they get a chance to listen to this and enjoy the weather, and today we've got that beautiful weather for them. It's not always like that. We're lucky today.
Not always. Well, we had a chance to talk with Joe Scagnoli and ask him just exactly how does he package all this together.
I'd say it's a pretty important event, you know, and it is from the standpoint of our providing some music and entertainment for the folks. They'll come early to get good seats. So they're sitting out there for an hour and a half before the event begins. You're looking at 15,000 people out there. We don't play for crowds like that on any of our concerts during the year. You'll also notice on that same program there's Hoagie Carmichael. Last year there was Cole Porter, both Indiana composers. I've tended to go more in that direction. This year you'll notice that, and I tend to make it all-American as much as I can, Gershwin. We're doing a medley of Gershwin tunes that are in there. This year, we're going to do Ray Charles because I think it's just so close to that time that happened. His movie, his death, Jamie Foxx having won that Oscar. John Williams is significant as a composer for the main reason I think of there is his writing for movies. People love his music. Kids love it. For a lot of our audience, you know, probably the one piece that always comes off as the favorite is a Sousa March. I tried to pick combinations that would be a little bit of something that would be recognizable for young children, and then also something that would be nice for the adults, too. That's another part of our tradition here is to do that back home again in Indiana to finish our portion of the pre-commencement concert. In early May, on a day with the sun out and no rain, that's probably one of the most beautiful settings for a commencement of any place in this country or probably in the world.
We agree wholeheartedly. Certainly is a beautiful sight. You can see friends and family continue to fill the seats behind us. Now, before the ceremony begins, we're going to introduce you to some very outstanding students.
Well, and because it is graduation, of course, we are going to focus on graduates. However, we do want to feature one student who is taking part in today's ceremony, and he is leaving Ball State, but just for a while. You're looking at trombonist Jay Yale from Leo, Indiana, which is slightly northeast of Fort Wayne.
Jay recently auditioned and was selected for a position with the Glenn Miller Orchestra. So he's going on the road for a year and then will return to Ball State to finish his degree. We give our big congratulations to Jay. And Jay and the rest of the ceremonial band will be taking a break in a few minutes, as we see in the music business, resting their chops before they really begin the full ceremonial music.
Right. In addition to Pomp and Circumstance and the national anthem, the band will play 3 pieces written by Ball State alumni. Once the graduates are in place, 16 trumpets and percussion will play ceremonial fanfare by 1991 graduate David Lincecum. The fanfare announces the arrival of the platform party, which includes Ball State President Joanne Gora, other Ball State officials, and the honorary degree recipients.
And master's degree candidate Jodi Lynn Cotton will sing the national anthem and Ball State's alma mater, which 1930 graduate Gladys Schindler Chrisman wrote.
At the end of the ceremony, the graduates and platform party will leave the quad to the beat of Beneficence Concert March. That certainly has a nice ring to it. That was written in 1997 by 1997 graduate Ryan Fraley. Joe Scagnoli believes, and I certainly agree, that really featuring the work of our talented students and alumni really adds to the tradition of the commencement day.
And that tradition could be growing because Les Taylor, who's been a longtime friend, is writing an overture based on the Ball State fight song, the alma mater, and the Ball State victory march. It could become part of the ceremony as early as next year. Now, we said earlier that we were going to introduce you to some outstanding graduates of today.
And the first of those is someone that you might have read about in the sport pages. We're talking about women's basketball standout Kate Indress. And she's not only the reigning Mid-American Conference Player of the Year, but she's also one of Ball State's top students.
I think if you look at the grand scheme of things, the academics are really what's going to take you further in life, and so that's always been a priority for me, and that's one of the reasons I chose Ball State. I was very impressed with some of the academic programs that it offered, the entrepreneurship program in particular. I think the academic support here at Ball State is very underrated. I've had support not only from coaching staff, but from professors and support staff since day one, and I really attribute that to a lot of my success. My experience at Ball State has been unbelievable. Cannot believe it's almost over, but it's been quite an adventure. Everything from on the basketball court to in the classroom has really been an experience here, and I feel like I'm walking away a much better person. It seems like the 4 years have flown by, and kind of a blitz of accomplishments and achievements over the years, and I've made a lot of great friends here, and it's been a great stepping stone in my life. So I'm excited. I'm a little nervous to move on. It's kind of a mix of emotions. I'm going to be a financial analyst for Citigroup's investment banking division in Manhattan. So I'll be moving out to New York for the first time, and I'm ready for the excitement, the experience, and it will be a good transition for me.
Well, you could see from that story that Kate was featured earlier this year in USA Today, and she mentioned an absolute blitz of accomplishments and achievements in her time at Ball State.
And we'd be here half the day if we tried to list all of them.
Absolutely.
Because she really is an incredible student. But she has been awarded the Distinguished Service Award for her commitment to community service during her time here at Ball State. ESPN, the magazine, named Kate its Academic All-American of the Year for 2004-2005. Kate's from Evansville, Indiana, is just one example of the outstanding scholar-athlete model that we have at Ball State.
Well, Kate crossed paths with our next outstanding senior, who's Osaka Nita, when Osaka worked as a student trainer for the women's basketball team.
Asaka says people are curious when she tells them she came to Ball State from Japan.
First thing they always ask me is, how did you end up in Muncie? The primary reason that I came to Muncie is to study athletic training, which is my major. I like my major, athletic training, because I used to play sport up to high school, and my other thing that I was good at was helping people, meeting new people, and combine them together. That's athletic training. Ball State helped me prepare to be an athletic trainer perfectly, because there are a lot of athletes here. That was my first choice that I made, because it was D1 school. And the other thing was that this program has built so many repetitions from other schools in the United States. It's one of the best schools to attend. I graduate and then go back home, and I have a job in Hiroshima, Japan, and I'll be working as an athletic trainer in sport medical clinic. The people I met here are wonderful, and they helped me to be a better person, better athletic trainer, and educated me to be who I am right now.
Asako received the James C. Dickerson Outstanding Senior Award in the athletic training program. Recently passed all her exams to earn her athletic training certification.
Well, you know, having international students at Ball State is very enriching to everyone's educational experience. Our students from Indiana, our neighboring states that attend Ball State, they gain so much from interacting with international students, and that's important as they're getting ready to work in a global economy.
Absolutely. We'll be introducing you to more outstanding seniors in just a moment, but today's ceremony also features the university bestowing 2 honorary degrees.
The first of these is going to David Owsley. He'll be receiving an honorary Doctor of Humanities degree, and this is in recognition of his very significant gifts and loans to the Ball State University Museum of Art.
You know, you cannot walk through the Museum of Art without seeing David Owsley's name all over the place. Owsley is the grandson of Frank Seaball, who helped pay for the building that houses the Museum of Art. Now, we tagged along with David earlier yesterday, and he says that his grandfather's art collection started when Frank Seaball went to New York for cataract surgery.
When grandfather, they took off the bandages, he was so happy to see there that he wanted to see everything. And when he and my mother and Aunt Margaret Petty came back to the Plaza Hotel, they were going up to their rooms, and they saw all these people getting off on the ballroom floor. And he said, "What's happening?" They said, "They're having an auction of the collection of George Hearn, the New Jersey magnate who's died last year." And he said, "Come on, girls, let's go." And so they went to see, and he saw all these paintings selling, European old masters, American paintings and all, and he started to buy. And he bought a lot of them there, which was really the basis of his collection. And then he asked my grandmother, "What are we going to do with these pictures there?" And so they didn't know. So they put them on loan to Indianapolis until they built this museum. This is called Right Bird Left, and when I saw it, I just fell in love with it, because I can feel the birds in the jungle there, the feathers, you know, going like this. The whole thing is alive, and it's a joy and an ode to nature and to beauty and to motion. One of the earliest sculptures, this medieval sculpture, which I was fortunate enough to buy there, it's enormously rare. It's around 1200 to 1225, Spanish, Romanesque there, and you get that abstract quality which and force which just involves you in the emotion of the crucifixion. These things all have their part of history and in the evolution of taste and of style, as well as of technique. I'm so glad to have been able to contribute to this museum, which is really now developing tremendously and will hopefully be a resource of beauty and interest for not only the students but the community and Indiana and the Midwest.
University has honored Owsley twice before with Ball State's Presidential Medal of Distinction and the naming of the David T. Owsley Gallery of Ethnographic Art.
A little later, we'll have a brief conversation with today's other honorary degree recipient. That's David Gergen. Gergen will also be giving today's commencement address. He's a former advisor to 4 U.S. presidents and currently a Harvard professor and editor-at-large of U.S. News and World Report, plus a frequent guest on television news programs. Well, while many of you may have seen David Gergen on camera, our next outstanding senior really hopes to make his living behind the lens.
Yes, he does. Gergen Henri McCrae is off to a very good start. He's an Indianapolis native. He's been named the Telecommunications Senior of the Year. During his 4 years here at Ball State, he has won 2 regional Emmys in the professional category, and of course the prestigious David Letterman Scholarship.
When I won an Emmy for the Welcome to Jash piece, I was pretty blown away because that's the first thing I did when I came to Ball State, and I shot it over my fall break. And it's basically about a guy in a jumpsuit who teleports to different locations across the state of Indiana. I was just really trying to energize people about, Indiana's a pretty cool place if you just look around and have fun. For the Letterman Scholarship, I worked with Marshall Graham, an actor here at the acting department at Ball State. And basically over my spring break, we shot a movie all in my bathroom at my home in Indianapolis. Yak to Shack was more of it was for a class here, my video art class, and it was supposed to be a video poetry piece.
Mom says don't play near the train. Using airplane bathrooms must be a challenge for...
I really had no idea that would win an Emmy.
Ball State, a super cool place to go.
I like Ball State quite a bit. I think it's a wonderful place to go because the resources and the constant support and the nourishment that I've received from this campus, I think is just unparalleled to any other educational institution or setting that I've been in. Over the years, I definitely have evolved into a much stronger storyteller because that's always been my goal here at Ball State, was to learn how to tell stories effectively and to incorporate emotion into my work.
Remember to love yourself.
What's next? Grad school and probably at Columbia University. And then from there, feature movies maybe, sky's the limit. I'm never going to lose my ambition. I'm going to make movies the rest of my life. It's my passion.
Gergen's latest project is called Knock Knock. It is a finalist for the Student Academy Awards in the Alternative Storytelling category. If you want to see some of Gergen's work, his award-winning work, you can check out the website. It's on the bottom of your screen. That's Jash, J-A-S-H Pictures.com. Well, it's just about time. In fact, I look at my watch. We're moving about to 9:50, seconds away from the beginning of Pomp and Circumstance and the processional of students graduation day, a reality. It is really here.
It is about to start. The ceremonial band will play Pomp and Circumstance all the way through, but they would have to play that dozens of times while all the graduates file into their seats. So Joe Scagnoli mixes in 4 or 5 additional ceremonial marches during the processional so it doesn't get too repetitive.
The last of the crowd continues to file in. And Heather, I think we are going to have an excess of 15,000 people here. Certainly back in the back, the chairs are totally filled.
It certainly looks full.
Joe Scagnoli is getting the ceremonial band prepared. The graduates have lined up along the back drive of the quad here, and they really stretch out from the middle of the quad all the way back to what we call West Quad building, so it's a good long distance. And it looks like Joe Scagnoli and the band is ready to perform.
It looks like he's ready to go.
We'll be marching in. are being carried by Jackie Buckrup, Associate Dean of the College of Communication, Information and Media. The Dean of the Graduate School is Deb Baylog. There are nearly 3,400 students in the college. 407 students are eligible for master's degrees, and 31 have qualified for doctorate degrees. You'll hear the names of the doctoral candidates called during the ceremony as each goes forward to receive their doctoral hoods. The only other student names you'll be hearing during the ceremony are the 5 students being honored for having a perfect 4.0 grade point average.
College to come in, you'll probably be seeing the banner for the College of Fine Arts. That's going to be carried by David Schauger, Assistant Professor of Theater and Dance. Robert Kavam is the Dean of the college, which has 1,325 students. The college will be awarding 2 associate, 117 bachelor's, 19 master's, and 2 doctoral degrees today.
Honorary degree recipient David Owsley will speak at the college's separate ceremony later today.
Fine Arts celebrated the grand opening of the Music Instruction Building earlier this year with a world-class concert series in the acoustically dynamic David and Mary Jane Sursa Performance Hall. The 600-seat hall is tunable, which makes each performance sound just the way it should. World-renowned violinist Midori played the first concert, accompanied by pianist Robert McDonald. Both of them praised the hall's sound, and pianist Christian Zimmerman said it compares with the best concert halls in Europe. The building also provides outstanding private practice rooms for music faculty and students, and it's the home of Ball State's highly regarded music technology program. The program's state-of-the-art DigiDesign soundboard has been featured in national publications.
The College of Sciences and Humanities is entering now. Ron Crosby who was named the George and Francis Ball Distinguished Professor of Physics and Astronomy, is carrying the banner today.
And Michael Maggiato is the Dean of the college, Ball State's largest, which has more than 6,200 students. Today, the college will award 12 associate, 528 bachelor's, 89 master's, and 6 doctoral degrees.
Ron Cosby is one of the driving forces behind Ball State's Center for Computational Nanoscience. It was established with a $1.5 million grant from the Indiana 21st Century Research and Technology Fund. The center coordinates the computational needs of researchers at partner universities Purdue, Notre Dame, Valparaiso, and Ohio University. Researchers in the center are also working on projects that could lead to more energy-efficient fluorescent lights and on luminescent chemical and biological sensors.
And the College of Sciences and Humanities also has a confocal microscope as the centerpiece of a new 8-room imaging lab in the Cooper Science Building. The lab gives researchers, students, and local businesses the ability to study multi-dimensional images down to the molecular level. Another outstanding graduate for you to meet. She's among the Sciences and Humanities students filing in, and her name is Lori Jackamine, and she's a biochemistry major from Hamilton, Ohio.
Lori is graduating with departmental honors, meaning she completed special requirements in chemistry and will receive a departmental honors diploma in addition to her university diploma.
She will also be wearing a medal during today's ceremonies that signifies that she won this year's Provost's Prize. That goes to the graduating senior who has done the most outstanding work in his or her college and is poised to continue that academic achievement.
And that's not all. Lori received the John R. Emmons Award given to the most outstanding senior in honor of his or her contributions to the university during their undergraduate years. In addition to being a great student, Lori is a student leader. She's a member of Alpha Phi sorority, past president of the Panhellenic Council, a member of the Chemistry Advising Night program, and a tutor in the Learning Center. Now here is Lori Jackamine.
I knew I wanted to go to medical school, and chemistry is a good start for
pre-medical preparation. So I ended up switching to biochemistry because a lot of my biology classes and classes for pre-medical preparation were consistent with the biochemistry option of the chemistry major. The research experience at Ball State is very unique in the fact that so many undergraduates get the opportunity to work with faculty members. Typically that's something that's reserved for master's or doctorate students. My experience has just helped me to grow and learn about lab experiences that I wouldn't necessarily get in an academic lab. It looked very good on a resume. I was able to get an internship with Eli Lilly and Company. When I interviewed for medical school acceptance, the medical schools were very impressed that I'd had some practical lab experiences outside of just my required academic labs. My favorite memories are probably when we get to take our research from, working day in and day out in the lab, which can get a little repetitious, and taking this research and presenting it at undergraduate research conferences, at poster sessions, at corporate centers such as Eli Lilly. It's really fun because we get to go and spend a day and have lunch with the other student lab workers, and also get to kind of show off what we've been working so hard on. I get to wear my medal for my academic honors, and I'm wearing honors cords as a graduate of the Honors College. And it's really exciting to say, hey, I'm finished, these are all the things that I did, and now I'm ready to move on to the next step in my life.
Lori's been accepted to the IU School of Medicine. She's going to be studying, and she's going to become a doctor.
It's terrific. Also making their way to their seats are students from Teachers College, being led by banner carrier Vicki Barton. Vicki is the Director of Residential and Student Affairs at the Indiana Academy for Science, Mathematics, and Humanities. That's a public residential school on the Ball State campus for high-achieving high school juniors and seniors from across Indiana.
The Dean of the college is Roy Weaver, who has the longest tenure among the deans of the 7 academic colleges. The college has nearly 3,000 students and is awarding 17 associate, 211 bachelor's, 90 master's, and 17 doctorate degrees today.
But Ball State reaches more than 15 million K-12 students nationwide with each of its interactive electronic field trips, and these broadcasts are produced through Teachers College. Partnering with NASA, the Smithsonian Institute, the Baseball Hall of Fame, and others, the trips provide access to the best museums and experts that this country has to offer. The Best Buy Children's Foundation recently provided $750,000 to fund next year's programs. Teachers College has also received the American Association of Colleges for Teacher Education's Best Practice Award for Global and International Teacher Education. This is the second year in a row the association has honored Teachers College.
Today's second honorary degree recipient is also giving the commencement address today. He is David Gergen. He'll be the first person other than the university president to give the commencement address since 1986.
Gergen held positions in the Nixon, Ford, and Reagan administrations, and he also served as a counselor to President Clinton. He is now editor-at-large for U.S. News and World Report, a professor of public service at Harvard's Kennedy School of Government, and the director of the Center for Public Leadership there.
Rather impressive credentials, I would say.
Yeah.
Earlier this morning, our own Glenn Augustine had a chance to speak with David Gergen.
Well, I love teaching. As you get older, there's a time in your life when you like to give back. You've done a lot for yourself. You've sort of, my life has been brimming over with privileges and opportunities. So this is a time when I would like to give back. But I also feel that education is so important to the future of the country that it is the pathway up for a lot of kids who come from lower middle class families or working people. Is their opportunity to make it in life. That's where a lot of the talent is for the country. So I think it's important to be able to reach out and open that up.
You've seen leadership at the top levels in the United States. You've worked for 4 presidents. So
yeah, starting with Grover Cleveland.
I don't think that's actually true, but some of your critics might think
yes,
that's
exactly.
True. If we could, just a brief thought on the 4. First, starting off with Richard Nixon.
Complex, very bright side, very, very dark side that eventually brought him down.
Gerald Ford.
Nicest man I've ever worked for. Decent, thoughtful, always surrounded himself with people he thought might be better at doing what they were doing than he would be. And as a result, he had a great team.
Ronald Reagan.
a lot of nostalgia for the Gipper. The best leader in the White House since Franklin Roosevelt. A man who is not only conservative, more conservative than I am, but I think lifted the sights of the country to be that city upon a hill.
You're conservative, then you worked for a liberal, Bill Clinton. What about him?
Well, he's more liberal than I am, too. I was sort of somewhere in between these two fellows. Bill Clinton, smartest mind we've had in the White House since at least Nixon, fastest. A mind who was able to comprehend information from all around the spectrum, what I call 360-degree leadership. Sometimes had a hard time finding his true north.
What message will you leave the graduates today?
They'll be grateful about one thing, and that is it will be brief. 10 to 12 minutes, I hope. And the message is very simple. An older generation to a younger generation. It's obvious that this is a class that's going to live in a world unlike anything we've ever seen before. After all, it was this class that came here in their freshman year and 9/11 struck. And there have been enormous changes even since while they've been here at Ball State. I want to talk about, look, you're entering this world of uncertainty, of complexity. How do you live in that situation? And what I've discovered, I think a lot of other people my age have discovered, is in a very complex situation, it helps to have some very simple rules by which to live. And I want to give them a range of choices.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
David Gergen has been here before. He gave the guest lecture in 2003.
And students from the Miller College of Business are taking their places behind the College of Fine Arts. Jeff Hornsby carried the banner for the college, and he was named the George and Francis Ball Distinguished Professor of Management in August.
The dean is Lynn Richardson. Enrollment in the college is just under 2,500 students. The college is awarding 5 associate, 258 bachelor's, and 36 master's degrees.
U.S. News and World Report ranked the undergraduate entrepreneurship program 4th in the nation in its most recent rankings. The college's H.H. Gregg Center for Professional Selling has been recognized for its high educational standards by the Professional Society for Sales and Marketing Training. H.H. Gregg Center Director Ramon Avila says the Sales Society is one of the most respected organizations in the sales field, so this certification enhances the reputation of Ball State's sales program significantly. Sales students take rigorous courses, participate in outstanding internships, and are highly recruited by employers because of their professionalism.
College of Communication, Information, and Media is being led today by banner carrier Dom Caristi. Dom is an associate professor of telecommunications and received tenure yesterday. Michael Holmes served 2 years as interim dean and is looking forward to getting back to his position as chair of the Department of Communication Studies. Roger Lavery is the new dean. He'll begin July 1st, but has already moved to Muncie.
This college is the 10th largest of its kind in the country, and in the opinion of several experts, it's absolutely one of the best. In his book, The Business of Broadcasting, author Leonard Mogul says that Ball State has one of the 8 most outstanding broadcasting programs in the United States. College of Architecture and Planning, which is also known as CAP to us, is the last college, next to last coming in today. Joe Bolello is the dean. This is the smallest college we have. There are 738 students in the college, and today they're awarding 116 bachelor's and 18 master's degrees. CAP is celebrating its 40th anniversary, and it's the only college of its kind at a public university in Indiana. And for the 3rd straight year, one of the college's departments has been ranked as among the nation's best. In this case, it's the Landscape Architecture Department. The Almanac of Architecture and Design asks professional landscape architecture firms which colleges produce graduates who are best prepared to begin professional practice, and Ball State's Landscape Architecture Department ranked 10th. 2 years ago, the Architecture Department was listed 13th in the country in a similar survey and rated 7th for best value.
The college's Indianapolis Center won a national award from the Center for Digital Education in California. The honor was for the creation of the website website used by the City of Indianapolis to get public input for the city's downtown development plan. We didn't mention CAP's banner carrier earlier, but you'll notice something very different. CAP is the only college with a student carrying that banner. That's a CAP tradition, and the honor goes to each year to the graduating senior with the highest grade point average.
This year, that's Daniel Overby, who has a 3.955 GPA on a 4-point scale. He's carrying the banner, and let's meet him.
That's a tradition that this college chooses to do, and I mean, to have that opportunity, if I'm the only student in the entire university who gets to do that, that's quite an honor. Well, the experience has been very rewarding. I mean, I came from a really small town, a really small school, and you know, this is, while it's in state, it's really the other side of the state, and it was really far away from home, and it was really the first time I'd ever been away from home for a significant amount of time, and really the experience I had here, just the university in general and the College of Architecture and Planning really helped develop me as an individual and as a leader, I think. This is one of the better programs in the country. I was very fortunate to get into the program, first of all, and it took a lot of perseverance, a lot of late nights, a lot of caffeine and sugar and lard and whatever you had to do to stay awake. But you know, I've done everything from learning how to draw by hand to doing computer-rendered models of things, doing hard models, and even working with materials. I mean, wood, concrete, steel. I've had to deal with all that stuff. My experience here has just opened other doors for me. The faculty in the college just, you know, they were more than faculty. You know, they weren't just the people that told me what to do. They really became friends. And I mean, I could give you a list a mile long of people I really hope to stay in touch with there. Just from the students here, the faculty here, and this goes beyond even the College of Architecture. I mean, I've known professors in some of my general ed classes that I would still see walking around and say hi, and they know me and we'll talk. I mean, it's really, this has been easily the most rewarding experience of my life.
Well, the color guard is coming in, and that really signals, Heather, that the ceremony is really just moments away as the platform party follows behind, and we are just not too far from beginning the full ceremony.
This is where things really get dramatic. There is one 7th college that we didn't get a chance to mention fully. That's Applied Science and Technology. They've already filed in. So all 7 colleges are in already.
While we were watching, and you were watching our interview, and the individuals march in, we missed what you would have been known as the most dramatic moment, and that was the playing of the trumpets.
And here we have our mace carrier. This is Scott Trappy. He's director of Ball State's world-renowned Human Performance Laboratory. As I mentioned, carrying the mace. Just last August, he was named the John and Janice Fisher Professor of Exercise Science, and that's one of 3 endowed chairs at Ball State.
Scott is involved in research with NASA on the long-term effects of prolonged space flight on muscle elasticity. His work could lead to better exercise programs in space that would help astronauts sustain their muscle mass, something very necessary if man is going to explore Mars.
Well, in just moments, we're going to have our platform party up there.
The platform party is Ball State President Joanne Gora in that party, celebrating her first spring commencement as the university president. During her first year, Gora has kicked off a $12 million stadium campaign, building better communities, inaugural scholarships.
The inaugural scholarships was such an interesting endeavor. Instead of having a traditional inauguration, President Gora opted to forego that on-campus celebration and instead use the money saved to award scholarships to 25 Indiana students. With the help of some very significant donors and friends and funding that, these are very significant scholarships.
And that was held in the rotunda of the State House. Governor Mitch Daniels was present, and it was just a very exciting moment for everyone.
Well, you'll see Beverly Pitts, the provost here, coming to the platform. This is Bev's last commencement at Ball State. She is going to be assuming the presidency at the University of Indianapolis beginning this summer. Bev is a good friend and colleague, and we are going to miss her. We certainly wish her well. Absolutely. The individuals in the red robes are members of our board of trustees. They are marching up to the platform, up the steps of the Fine Arts Building, directly in front of the Museum of Art. And as they take their place, the crowd, and I must say, the crowd continues to grow. Up to the last minute.
Welcome to the 143rd commencement of Ball State University. I am Beverley Pitts, Provost and Vice President of Academic Affairs. Please remain standing as Jodi Lynn Cotton, a graduate student in the School of Music, sings the national anthem. Would you please be seated? This is a most happy day, and we were glad to have all of you here to share in this most important occasion. It's a very special time for you who are graduating and for your families and friends, and we offer our warmest congratulations. I'm pleased now to introduce the Ball State University officers and Board of Trustees. Would you please hold your applause until all introductions are completed? O'Neill Smitherman, Vice President for Information Technology and Executive Assistant to the President. Thomas Kinghorn, Vice President for Business Affairs and Treasurer. Kyle Mitchell, Student Member, Board of Trustees. Kim Hood Jacobs, Board of Trustees. Gregory Schenkel, Secretary, Board of Trustees. Gregory Ferribach, Board of Trustees. Julie Bradshaw, President, Alumni Council. Don Park, Vice President for University Advancement. Lawrence Cunningham, Director, Intercollegiate Athletics. Randy Hyman, Interim Vice President of Student Affairs and Enrollment Management. Thomas Lowe, Associate Provost and Dean, University College. Scott Trappy, John and Janice Fisher, Professor of Exercise Science, who is carrying the university mace. David Gergen, Honorary Degree Recipient. David Owsley, Honorary Degree Recipient. Thomas DeWeese, President, the Board of Trustees. Joanne Gora, President of Ball State University. Frank Bracken, Vice President, Board of Trustees. Deborah Baylog, Associate Provost and Dean of the Graduate School. James Rubel, Dean, Honors College. Jodi Lynn Cotton, Graduate Student, School of Music, and our vocalist. Join me in recognizing these individuals. May I also present the other administrators and deans who are seated with the graduates. Please stand and be recognized when I call your name. Dean Nancy Kingsbury, College of Applied Sciences and Technology, and Associate Dean Gwen Robbins. Dean Joseph Bolello, College of Architecture and Planning, and Associate Dean Michelle Munyar. Dean Lynn Richardson, Miller College of Business, and Associate Deans Rodney Davis and Raymond Montagno. Interim Dean Michael Holmes, College of Communication, Information, and Media, and Associate Dean Jacqueline Buckrock. Dean Robert Kavam, College of Fine Arts, and Associate Dean Stanley Guidell. Dean Michael Maggiato, College of Sciences and Humanities, and Associate Deans Susan Johnson and Donald Van Meter. Dean Roy Weaver, Teachers College. Dr. James Pyle, Assistant Vice President for Research. Dean Frank Sabatine, School of Extended Education. Dean Arthur Hafner, University Libraries. Dean Lawrence Waters, Admissions and Enrollment Services. And today our signers are Sandra Gooding and Laura Shadone. Please join me in recognizing these individuals. And now I'm pleased to present President Gora.
Thank you, Provost Pitts. May we now proceed with the conferral of the honorary degrees. I ask Mr. DeWeese, Mr. Bracken, Provost Pitts, and Dr. Baylog to please assist. David T. Owsley, will you please come forward for the awarding of this degree?
Mr. David T. Owsley, you have made many contributions to the world of art through your thoughtful and devoted pursuit of art collection, research, preservation, and education. Your strength is that of a superb generalist in an area of specialization in virtually every field of endeavor, including art history. Your wide expertise is represented by nearly 30% of the Ball State Museum art collection. Single-handedly, you have furnished the museum with collections of art representing ancient China, India, and Southeast Asia. In 1978, the Owsley Gallery of Ethnographic Art was dedicated to recognize your magnificent gifts. These gifts enable countless students, faculty, staff, and visitors to appreciate the cultures of the world. Today, it is our honor to recognize you with gratitude for publicly enriching the cultural life of the Muncie community and Greater Indiana. Mr. Owsley, the son of Lucy Ball Owsley and the grandson of Frank C. Ball, you have written another chapter in the Ball family's history of philanthropy.
By the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of Ball State University, I hereby confer upon you, David T. Owsley, the degree of Doctor of Humanities, honoris causa, with all the rights and privileges thereunto pertaining. I award you this diploma in testimony thereof and present you the academic hood for this degree.
Thank you. Members of the Board of Trustees of Ball State University, President Gora, Provost Pitts, members of the Graduate Education Committee, Chairman Jackson, and Dean Kavam, I thank you for this very great honor. I hope that the works of art that I have given to your Museum of Art will not only be of interest and inspiration in themselves, but will serve also as signposts to avenues of exploration of the great and often beautiful cultures of our world. Thank you so much.
David R. Gergen, will you please present yourself for the awarding of the honorary degree?
David R. Gergen, for more than 30 years, you have been an active participant in American national life, serving as a commentator, editor, teacher, public servant, best-selling author, and advisor to U.S. presidents. You served as Director of Communications for President Reagan and held positions in the administrations of Presidents Nixon and Ford. In 1993, you served as counselor to President Clinton on both foreign policy and domestic affairs, and then as special international advisor to the President and to Secretary of State Warren Christopher. Currently, you serve as the editor-at-large of U.S. News and World Report. You also serve as Professor of Public Service at Harvard's John F. Kennedy School of Government and the director of its Center for Public Leadership. For 2 seasons, you served as moderator of a 13-part PBS discussion series, and recently you published the best-selling book, Eyewitness to Power, The Essence of Leadership, Nixon to Clinton. In the fall of 2003, you gave the Emmons Professorship Lecture at Ball State University, in which you emphasized the importance of statesmanship and civility in public leadership. In honoring you today, the university recognizes not only your significant role in the field of journalism, but also your many other contributions to American life and thought.
By the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of Ball State University, I hereby confer upon you, David R. Gergen, the degree of Doctor of Laws, honoris causa, with all the rights and privileges thereunto pertaining. I award you this diploma in testimony thereof, and I present you with the academic hood for this degree. I would like to invite Dr. Gergen to give the commencement address for the 2005 graduating class of Ball State University.
Good morning. President Joanne Gora, members of the Board of Trustees, faculty, families, friends, and especially members of the graduating class of 2005. What a glorious day this is, and at last. This is a day when some 15,000 people crowd onto this wonderful lawn to an institution now beloved by one generation after another, to say to the new graduates of Ball State University, 2,505 new graduates, congratulations and Godspeed. Speaking to some of the students over the last couple of days, I know this is also a time when their hearts are brimming with gratitude to their families, their moms and dads, sisters and brothers, grandparents and friends. To give them a chance to express their gratitude, I would like to ask all of the graduates now to stand, turn, and give a Ball State round of applause to your parents and families. Thank you. I'm honored to join you for this moment and to join David Owsley, a man who has done so much for this institution. President Gora told me last night that this is the first time in some 20 years that an outsider has been asked to come and speak at the commencement. The last to do so was Senator Richard Lugar. So you can imagine the pride and humility I feel now to become part of this university's family. But there are more important firsts to celebrate here today. How fitting it is that Joanne Gora is the first woman ever to become president of a major university in Indiana. And how fitting it is that she is also the first person ever, as far as I know, to have the inspiration to convert the funds that were intended for her own inauguration as president into scholarship funds for the students. So all of us today owe a debt of gratitude also to the Board of Trustees, including one member of this senior class, for recruiting her, asking her, and then persuading her to come here. And now I have one more bit of good news. I promise this morning to be mercifully brief. Many of you graduates probably think you've already heard enough from older generations, and you have. As I work with students at the Kennedy School, I have come to appreciate the differences in generational outlooks. Most of you who are graduating today are young, vigorous, and, well, frisky. Fair enough, you should be. But I and some others here have reached the stage in life when we feel very sympathetic to the old fellow who was walking through a forest one day, looked down and spotted a frog. "Hello," said the frog. "Why, hello to you," said the man. "If you kiss me," the frog said, "I will turn into your princess." Well, the man bent over, scooped up the frog, and put it in his pocket. "Didn't you hear me?" the frog cried. "If you kiss me, I'll turn into your princess." "Yes, I heard you," the man said, "but at my age, I'd rather have a talking frog." And so it goes, a big difference in generational outlooks. So what final words of wisdom does the older generation have to offer you, the graduates, this morning? Simply these. It is now perfectly obvious that your generation will live in a very different world from anything we have ever known before. It wasn't always this way. In fact, for most of the human experience, life changed almost not at all from one generation to the next. Children were born, grew up, and died the same way their parents and grandparents did, usually living off the land. But as Henry Adams told us in his autobiography, history began to accelerate in the 19th century. And in the past few years, history has been moving at lightning speed. This point became startling to you, the graduates from the undergraduate college here. This point became startlingly clear in your first month on this campus as freshmen. That September 11th transformed our mental landscape and will always be a central part of your lives as students. Since you've been here, you've also understood the freakish ways of nature these days as you returned in senior year to find an ice storm that left many of you without power and probably happily without classes for a number of days. Since you have been here, the world has changed in other ways that we only dimly understand. Tom Friedman, Foreign Affairs columnist for the New York Times and 3 times winner of the Pulitzer Prize, has just published a new book arguing that over the past 4 years, while most of us have been mesmerized by events in the Middle East, transformations have been quietly taking place in technology that are changing our world even more. From call centers in Bangalore, India, to engineering firms along the east coast of China, we now face economic challenges that are unprecedented, and you know them here in Indiana as you struggle to keep jobs here. You will encounter these changes as graduates the day you leave this campus. Your first big job will certainly not be your last. Researchers argue that on average, you will have more than 8 different jobs over the course of your career. And there's a growing possibility that your first profession won't be your last either. You could easily move from communications to business to law, or perhaps the other way around. If Moore's law holds, and it likely will, you will have to master new technologies in every decade of your life. A decade ago, almost none of us used the internet. A new study from Stanford shows that we have some 54 million Americans between the ages of 18 and 64 now use the internet on average 21 hours a week. And that's going to continue to change as new discoveries come online. You'll be forced to survive a growing bombardment of new information, facts, gossip, messages from old friends. Already one has the sense that we are drowning in information but starving for wisdom. And just as inevitably, you will have to find new ground rules for the way that men and women live together, make love, have children, build careers, and try to find happiness. More than 40 years after the feminist revolution, women are still not sure about their roles in the workplace. There are still too many glass ceilings and sticky floors. Men are uncertain about their roles in the home place, and no one knows how to achieve the best balance between home and work. Your grandparents, many of them whom are blessedly here, formed the World War II generation. Some call it the greatest generation. Your parents formed the generation of the 60s and 70s, the Vietnam generation. Some call it the split generation. You will be the explorer generation. You and others of your age will have to navigate waters never seen before. Well, how can you succeed? How can you best find your way through all the complexities and uncertainties that lie ahead? As I've grown older, I've come to appreciate something once said by Oliver Wendell Holmes, Jr., the great jurist. Quote, "I would not give a fig for the simplicity on this side of complexity." I would not give a fig for the simplicity on this side of complexity, but I would give my life for the simplicity on the other side of complexity. Now, what in the world did he mean? What he meant, I believe, is that if one jumps to quick conclusions about life, those conclusions really aren't worth a darn. They're usually just platitudes. But if you pay attention to those who have come before us and who have wrestled with life, wrestling like Jacob with the angel, you will often find that there are simplicities out there that may sound like chicken soup for the soul, but really have depth and profundity in them. What I have discovered over the years is that if you can find some of these simplicities that lie beyond complexity, simplicities that speak to your core as a person, and embrace them as your own, they can be truly precious as guides. Find some simple rules of life and let them guide you through complexity. They will help you enormously. They can serve as your North Star. They can serve as your North Star when you are in troubled waters. You can set your course by them, stick to them, and find your way to safe harbor. Men and women have been trying to seek out such wisdom since ancient times. The Greeks went to Delphi to seek out the oracle. Plutarch tells us that there on the temple of Apollo, the Greeks found inscribed on a main gate their first instruction for life: know thyself, know thyself. And on another gate were inscribed the words, nothing in excess. And those two instructions became the North Star for many Greeks. They spent great amounts of time trying to understand themselves as human beings and learning to master their inner selves. Similarly, they learned moderation in all things, achieving exquisite balance and beauty and life as well as art, as David Owsley can tell us. You can find your own inspiration by studying the civilization of the Greeks, the Romans, the Renaissance, or perhaps Elizabethan England. Or some of you may prefer to remember the lessons you learned at your mother's knee. Often, too, they can serve as your North Star. A couple of years ago, President Bush, George W. Bush, graciously threw a birthday dinner for President Ford. It was President Ford's 90th birthday. And as he looked back over his life, President Ford said that the most important guide he had in life came from his mother when he was young. She set 3 rules for him in life: work hard, tell the truth, and come to dinner on time. Well, that may sound like chicken soup, but actually they're pretty sturdy lessons for anyone who has grown up here in the Midwest. Certainly Jerry Ford thought so. Some of you instead may find your guidance from leadership lessons that have emerged from the American military. Over the decades, we have had a host of fine men and women who have graduated from the School of Hard Knocks to become sterling generals and admirals. The historian Douglas Southall Freeman, who wrote noted biographies of George Washington and Robert E. Lee, concluded that there are 3 basic rules for leadership. Know your stuff, be a man, look after your men. That was it. Not 10 rules, not 7, just those 3. And they go to the essence of how one builds respect and trust as a leader in any field. Know your stuff, be a man, look after your men. Some of you may find guidance from poets and philosophers who speak especially to your inner core. More than once in the past few years, I have found women leaders who quote approvingly from the poetry of Mary Oliver. She clearly resonates with them. Men, I find, often share a different author. As he was boarding Air Force One for an overseas trip a few years ago, President Clinton spotted Ted Koppel quietly reading in a corner of the plane. Koppel, as you know, is a dear friend of your own faculty member, Steve Bell. Well, I was there, and the president went over to say hello and asked about what Ted was reading. Meditations, said Koppel, by the Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius. Oh, said Clinton, I try to reread Aurelius every couple of years. He's very important to me. Me too, I recall Koppel saying, this is my 3rd time through. One day after you leave here, I hope you'll pick up a copy of Meditations and of Mary Oliver too. So there's a full range of choices out there for you. Guides, simple guides for life that can be so important at a time of complexity. But none are more likely to be important to most of you than those you will find in the world's great religions. Read over again when you have a moment the Sermon on the Mount from the book of Matthew. You'll find there a guide to life that has never been improved upon. Whatever your faith, read too from the Talmud, the Quran, the Bhagavad Gita, and the Tibetan Book of the Dead. Franklin Roosevelt was not a deeply religious man, but his wife Eleanor said that he embraced the Golden Rule as a simple guide to life, and he became the greatest president of the 20th century. Personally, my own favorite from the Bible comes from the book of Micah, chapter 6, verse 8. Its words, I have found, can keep you steady through any storm. It says quite simply, what doth the Lord require of thee but to do justly and to love mercy and to walk humbly with thy God? Those words I have found have been steadying for me and for others. But no one can say what are the right words for you, the graduates. Only you can make that choice. What the rest of us here today can only add is this. Graduates of the class of 2005 here at this wonderful university, we congratulate you again upon your success. You have earned a degree from one of the finest institutions in this nation. Now you set a new course through waters never seen before by anyone. You now become explorers. Your family, your friends, your faculty are all proud of you. We believe in you, and we hope that you will now find your own North Star. Good luck and Godspeed.
Dr. Balog, we will now proceed with the hooding of the doctoral candidates.
Will the candidates for all doctoral degrees please rise?
President Gora, as Provost and Vice President of Academic Affairs, I present to you those candidates who have completed all the requirements for one of the following advanced degrees: Doctor of Audiology, Doctor of Arts, Doctor of Education, or Doctor of Philosophy.
Upon the recommendation of the faculty and by the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of Ball State University, I confer upon you your respective doctoral degrees with all rights, honors, privileges, and obligations thereunto pertaining. The diploma of this university shall forever be the testimony recognizing the very high level of academic achievement that you have attained. I welcome you into the ancient and honorable company of scholars. Congratulations on your special accomplishments.
The candidates for the doctoral degrees will now proceed to the platform to cross as their names are called and be invested with the symbols of their degrees. Assisting will be Dr. Mary Kite, Associate Dean of the Graduate School. The candidates will be accompanied by members of their doctoral committee who will assist Dr. Balog in the hooding. Monica Lee Birch, assisting in the hooding of all the candidates for the degree of Doctor of Audiology, will be Dr. David Coffin, Assistant Professor of Audiology. Cynthia Louise Butler. Lee Dawn Elsesser. Christine Elizabeth Griffiths. Catherine Suzanne Higginbotham. Rebecca Lee Kane. Michael R. Davis. Assisting in the hooding will be Douglas Ammon, Professor Emeritus, School of Music, and Dr. Thalia Mulvihill, Director of Adult and Higher and Community Education. Stacy Jean Atkinson. Assisting in the hooding will be Dr. Thalia Mulvihill. Andrew Jerome Barrett II. Assisting in the hooding will be Dr. Peter Merck, Professor of Adult Community Education, Department of Educational Studies. Donna Jean Downs. Assisting will be Dr. Merck. Jennifer K. Pop. Assisting will be Dr. Merck. David Andrew Nikolich. Assisting in the hooding will be Dr. James McElhaney, Professor Emeritus, Department of Educational Studies. Jacqueline May Perrin Schlichty. Assisting in the hooding will be Dr. Karen Ford, Associate Professor, Department of Elementary Education. Hisham M.A. Monisser. Assisting in the hooding will be Dr. Elizabeth Riddle, Professor, Department of English. Claire Marguerite Roundtree. Assisting in the hooding will be Dr. Lawrence Gerstein, Professor of Department of Counseling, Psychology, and Guidance Services. Melissa Joanne Zaire. Assisting in the hooding will be Dr. Gerstein. Congratulations to all of these.
Will the candidate for the degree of Specialist in Education please rise?
As Provost and Vice President for Academic Affairs, I present to you the candidate who has completed all the requirements for the degree of Specialist in Education.
Upon the recommendation of the faculty and by the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of Ball State University, I confer upon you your Specialist in Education degree with all rights, honors, privileges, and obligations thereunto pertaining. The diploma of the university shall forever be the testimony recognizing the very high level of academic accomplishment that you have attained. I welcome you into the ancient and honorable company of scholars. Congratulations on your special accomplishments. The candidate for the degree of Specialist in Education degree will now proceed to the platform to cross and be invested with the symbols of the degree. Dr. Jackie Nelson, Assistant Dean of the Graduate School, will accompany the specialist candidate to the stage.
Anita Sue Silverman. Assisting in the hooding will be Dr. Jacqueline Nelson, Assistant Dean, Graduate School. Dr. Balog will present the candidates for master's degrees.
Will all master's candidates please stand?
President Gora, I present to you those candidates for master's degrees who have completed all of the requirements for their respective degrees.
Upon the recommendation of the faculty that you have completed all the requirements for graduation and by the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of Ball State University, I confer upon you your respective master's degrees. with all rights, honors, privileges, and obligations thereunto pertaining. The diploma of the university shall forever be the testimony in recognition of your completion of the first level of graduate study. Congratulations to each of you. You may be seated.
Dr. James Rubel, Dean of the Honors College, will now present the candidates for honors.
The Honors College provides distinctive educational opportunities for undergraduates of high academic achievement. In addition to their major and minor concentrations, students in the Honors College must complete the Honors Core curriculum consisting of 6 courses in the liberal arts and sciences and 2 additional honors colloquia that focus on critical analysis of issues in areas of faculty expertise. Each student must also complete a senior capstone thesis or creative project and maintain a cumulative GPA of 3.33 or higher in all coursework. Those baccalaureate candidates who are graduating from the University Honors College are wearing the red and white cords. Will you please stand and be recognized? Thank you. You may be seated. Departmental honors are awarded to those students who graduate with a minimum GPA of 3.5 in their major. They must also complete special work in their major, as well as some form of thesis or creative project. Will those of you graduating with departmental honors please stand and be recognized? Thank you. You may be seated. We recognize associate degree students who have achieved a 3.6 or higher grade point average with the designation Associate Degree with Academic Distinction. Will the students graduating with this recognition please stand and be recognized? Are there any here? Congratulations to them. Students with outstanding scholastic records graduate with academic honors. These students are wearing bronze, silver, or gold medallions on red ribbons. Students who have achieved scholastic averages between 3.6 and 3.79 are wearing the bronze medallion and graduating cum laude. Will you please stand and be recognized? Thank you. You may be seated. Those graduates who have earned scholastic averages between 3.8 and 3.89 are wearing the silver medallion and graduating magna cum laude. Will you please rise and be recognized? You may be seated. The highest scholastic honors given by the university go to those students whose scholastic averages are 3.9 or higher. Those graduates are wearing the gold medallion and are graduating summa cum laude. Will you please rise and be recognized? Thank you. You may be seated. Congratulations to all of you who are graduating cum laude, magna cum laude, and summa cum laude for your superior academic achievements.
We have 6 graduating seniors who have achieved special academic distinction. 5 of them are present today. I ask Mr. DeWeese to come forward and the junior marshals to escort the following students to the platform. Laura Renee Hadley, Emily Elizabeth Hammersmith, Ann M. Henry, John Stephen Rowe, Aaron Michael H. Sapp.
As President of the Board of Trustees, it gives me great pleasure to recognize these 5 students who have achieved special academic distinction. They have completed their baccalaureate degree programs with a perfect 4.0 grade point average, an incredible achievement. As I call your name, will you please come forward to receive your citation recognizing your achievement? Laura Renee Hadley. Laura Renee Hadley is a graduate of Linton Stockton High School in Linton, Indiana. At Ball State, she majored in criminal justice and criminology. Laura plans to attend law school. Congratulations. Emily Elizabeth Hammersmith. Emily Elizabeth Hammersmith is from Big Rapids, Michigan. She is a graduate of Big Rapids High School. At Ball State, Emily majored in both anthropology and English literature. She plans to work for a few years and then attend graduate school. Congratulations, Emily. Ann M. Henry. Ann M. Henry is a graduate of Leo High School in Leo, Indiana. At Ball State, she majored in accounting. In August, Ann will begin working for Ernst & Young in Fort Wayne. Congratulations. John Stephen Rowe. John Stephen Rowe is from Terre Haute and is a graduate of Terre Haute North Vigo High School. At Ball State, John majored in communication studies. After graduation, he plans to continue his education and develop a career in business management. Congratulations, John. Aaron Michael H. Sapp. Aaron Michael H. Sapp is a graduate of R. Nelson Snyder High School in Fort Wayne. At Ball State, he majored in business administration. In the fall, Aaron Michael plans to attend Michigan State Law School. Congratulations. Best wishes to all of you for your continuing success.
Will all candidates for baccalaureate degrees or associate degrees in the College of Applied Sciences and Technology please rise? Will all candidates for baccalaureate degrees in the College of Architecture and Planning please rise? Will all candidates for baccalaureate degrees or associate degrees in the Miller College of Business please rise? Will all candidates for baccalaureate degrees in the College of Communication, Information, and Media please rise? Will all candidates for baccalaureate degrees in the College of Fine Arts please rise? Will all candidates for baccalaureate degrees or associate degrees in the College of Sciences and Humanities please rise? Will all candidates for baccalaureate degrees in Teachers College please rise? President Gora, I am pleased to present to you those candidates for degrees who have completed all of the requirements for the respective baccalaureate or associate degrees.
Upon the recommendation of the faculty that you have completed all the requirements for graduation, and by the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of Ball State University, I confer upon you your respective bachelor's or associate degrees with all rights, honors, privileges, and obligations thereunto pertaining. The diploma of the university shall forever be the testimony of your accomplishments. With pleasure, I admit you into the company of educated men and women. Congratulations to each of you. You may now wear your mortarboard tassels on the left side. We have gathered today to honor the academic achievement of our students. We have symbolized their new status in the world of learning by the granting of degrees and have shown our pride in their accomplishments. I now wish to recognize one other group, the faculty. Would the faculty please stand? The academic regalia which they wear has a long tradition. It symbolizes their commitment to teaching and to their search for the truth. Our society has charged them to create, preserve, and transmit the accumulated wisdom to each new generation. Graduation reflects their faithful performance of that charge. Thank you so much for all that you have done for our students. We are so pleased to have all of the families of our graduates here today to share in this joyous occasion. And our graduates and our families have already heard the words of David Owsley and David Gergen, and so I promise just a few very brief remarks as we close this ceremony. I actually want to share with you some thoughts I had while reading a book about that favorite sport, golf. In his 1972 book, Golf in the Kingdom, author Michael Murphy weaves a fascinating fictional tale about his visit to a famous Scottish golf links. His pilgrimage to the place he dubs Burning Bush turns into a lesson about golf and life and mysticism when he plays the links with a local golf pro named Shivis Irons. After the round, Irons invites Murphy to dinner with some of the townsfolk. The group engages in a lively philosophical discussion about their love or hate for golf and how the game reflects life. One of the guests muses about standing over the ball and visualizing a perfect shot. All of our experience is full of anticipation. We love what we might be. Those words ring true on an occasion such as today. The years of kindergarten through high school are about receiving an education, particularly the foundational skills necessary to become a productive member of society. A college degree, however, is about achieving an education, and you have chosen your academic and co-curricular experiences at Ball State based upon the anticipation of what you might be after graduation. Those experiences have prepared you well for your next steps in life. My wish for each one of you is that your experiences beyond Ball State are also filled with anticipation, and that what you will be sparks a passion within you that drives you to live each aspect of your lives to the fullest. Having passion allows you to overcome the inevitable obstacles, some small, some large, that we all face. American writer, editor, and printer Elbert Hubbard once said, "The biggest mistake you can make in life is to be constantly afraid of making one." Life is about risk and reward, and Hubbard would have found a kindred spirit in Michael Murphy's fictional golf pro. Chivas Irons insisted his pupils follow the flight of every shot to the very end, no matter how bad the shot. We blind ourselves by turning away too soon, he said. By seeing where our errant shots land or how our mistakes play out, we learn lessons that build the character necessary to take the next risk in search for a better outcome. Your future successes in this rapidly changing world also depend upon acquiring information and using it wisely. A degree does not signify the end of your education. In fact, today marks the end of the beginning of a lifelong educational process. Your degree becomes more valuable as you show your employers, or perhaps your employees, how well you adapt to change. You will also find life more enjoyable and rewarding if you challenge yourself, whether out of necessity or interest, to delve in and seek answers to the questions that arise every day. In doing so, you will experience what that fictional golf guru said about the odyssey of life. We should learn to enjoy what is while seeking our treasure for tomorrow. He found golf good for that purpose because if it is a journey, it is also a round. It always leads back to the place you started from. On behalf of the Ball State University Alumni Association, I welcome each graduate to our alumni ranks. You are now one of over 139,000 living Ball State alumni. I encourage you to use the Alumni Association to keep us informed about the changes and achievements in your lives. We hope the association builds an even stronger bond between you and Ball State than the one that has been established during your time here. And over time, we hope, like a round of golf, life will lead you back to this place, Ball State, for a visit, to serve on a committee, to fulfill an educational need, or perhaps to start a career. After all, in the anticipation of what you might be in life, this is the place where the experiences, your experiences, started from. I hope you enjoy the time that you will spend today with your friends, fellow graduates, and families. And again, congratulations on reaching this special day in your lives. That concludes this morning's ceremony. Please consult your program for time and location of college ceremonies. As you leave this area and begin moving north on McKinley Avenue, you will hear and see the bells of the Schaefer Tower Carillon. While on your way to the college ceremonies, please linger for a moment to enjoy a selection or two as presented by Mr. John Gowans. Now please rise and join Jodi Cotton in the singing of the Alma Mater. And please remain standing until the colors have passed, and then be seated until the platform party has recessed.
Thy spirit hovers near us.
absolute glorious day. The weather has once again cooperated. I think that's part of the tradition, Heather. The weather is always lovely in Muncie at this time of year.
Well, maybe not always, but it has been picture perfect today. The speakers were excellent. The singing was beautiful, and it has felt like the celebration that it is for all of our graduates, their families, our friends of the university. It really has felt like a celebration.
The colors will depart the platform, the party will follow, and the graduates will then move to their respective individual college graduations that will be scattered throughout campus. Those will come about immediately, about a half hour from now, and then another set will begin at 2 o'clock.
Right.
Lots of activities going on, lots of celebration going on. This is really a fun time.
Absolutely a fun time, and we're glad that all of you could join us in watching today.
Thank you for being with us. It's been an absolutely beautiful day. We hope you've enjoyed it. We certainly have. For Heather Shupp, I'm Al Rent. Thanks for being with us. We'll see you next year.
You've been watching the 143rd commencement ceremony from Ball State University. This has been a production of WIPB Television and Ball State University Communications.